Is there any team so far that is surprising you, whether good or bad? You just phrase
We
it
got
how
we
you
got to
want.
talk about the Chargers.
I
Man.
mean, you know, I want to talk about the. Hold on, listen.
I love that Mike. First of all, keeping Mike Williams is a big fan because him and Herbert got that rapport. Like, and I love that they prioritized that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have minded if they went elsewhere and upgraded, but you also need to factor in that chemistry is very important.
Also, who's going to be an upgrade? I don't know who's out there that would be better than him.
That's true. That's
He's
fair
one of
also.
the best contested catch receivers and deep
Yeah.
threats. Like to me, him and Gallup are similar, but Williams is more physical.
Yeah, and he got the size too,
Yeah,
and it's a
so-
big body. And you look at the rest of those wide
Yeah.
receivers, not really like jumping off the screen as far as like size goes. But you're right. Like even Justin Herbert put out a post like Mo's back,
There
or
you
like
go.
Mo money or whatever.
Yeah,
It was.
I mean, you got to keep your crown jewel
Yeah.
satisfied. Like that's what it is with Herbert. But the big thing with the Chargers has to be defensively because that's what ultimately let them down in big moments. And Khalil Mack's play is a bit dipped. I don't think he lived up to the hype in Chicago. But you're talking about him being a second edge rusher because Joey Bosa is still playing at top 5 level. Joey Bosa is still wrecking teams. But him and Mack off the edge together. I don't think I've been this excited about edge duo since Von Miller to Marcus Ware, and they won a Super Bowl. So I don't know if the Chargers. I know you want the Chargers to win a Super Bowl. You've been hoping,
Yeah.
but like to be Bosa and Mack together, like that just causes so much problems. And then they got more physical up front with Joseph Day, who I think would have gotten more fanfare if he didn't tear his pectoral in November because he wasn't part of the Rams Super Bowl run.
Right.
But he's been a steady contributor for the past 3 years, and that we know how good those Rams defense has been. But getting him has been a big move. And then J.C. Jackson, boy, that's a massive sign. Because to me, I don't think there's been many corners that have been better than him in the past 2 years.
Yeah, my only concern for that is Belichick letting go of a corner with like no signs of wanting to re-sign him is always just a little.
It's
little
fair.
hesitant,
It's fair.
right?
That's fair.
I still think he's.
I trust
also,
the pedigree. Yeah.
Right, but it's just like Bill just to like let him go.
But I think they also had to make the move because Chris Harris isn't the same player. Samuel Jr. is a nice piece, but they needed corners. Like it just that Chargers, they just need to invest in defense because you just looked at the end of last season, it's like this team doesn't have much. Like
they couldn't get a stop.
Yeah,
they couldn't get a stop, and I think that's one of the reasons why they kept going for it on fourth downs too. It's like, yo, if we end up punting, the team's just gonna go 90 anyway. Right. So what difference is it if we go for it on 4th and 12 from the 50-yard line or not? It's not gonna make any difference. Mm-hmm. And I also, they signed the guy from the Giants who I like too, Austin Johnson, defensive tackle, who a lot of people not really watching the Giants because they've been abysmal, but he's a guy who he just occupies space,
and they need that because teams ran on them. Like you watch that Texans game,
so he'll take on 2 blockers.
They need that,
and it's gonna just free up linebackers to roam Derwin James in the box.
It's those key moves that could build this line because you need defensive line depth, and that's why I'm really excited about the Chargers. Now it's just a matter of maybe get a linebacker or 2 in there, maybe solidify a little bit the offensive line. But ultimately now, I think this roster is ready, and it's going to fall on the coaching staff. Staley has a lot to prove. Lombardi, the offense coordinator, has a lot to prove. That has to get right because how they fell apart in the second half of the season was a really bad look, and it kind of reminded me. It was a little bit reminiscent of Arizona, which is you don't want that kind of comparison.
I'm not a fan of trading up in drafts to take a player unless it's a quarterback, but the defensive tackle from Georgia,
Jordan Davis,
who's 6'8", 380.
He wrecked the combine.
Get him, LA. Get him.
Well, they just invest a lot, but if they get another one, why not? Yeah.
I mean, why not, right? I know you've invested, but this is a guy who could be like a franchise defensive tackle and just talk about taking on 3-4 blockers. That's what that dude would do. And his combine stuff was fucking crazy as well. But I mean, the Chargers are clearly because they're making moves too, Alan. I feel like that makes sense.
But it's also which is important. Edge rusher, corner, interior tackle, they need to make these moves. Yeah. So and they know they have to maximize these next few years. Herbert on the rookie deal, so this is the time. And just AFC just continue to improve. Yeah. So you gotta keep growing. And I think they realize okay, Herbert's different. We know we have a real generational talent, however you want to phrase him, but he's someone that's going to lead our franchise. So now it's really got to build around him and do it by any cost. Being aggressive and getting someone like Khalil Mack just shows what their intentions are.
This thing right here is something that everybody says about like capitalizing on the rookie quarterback deal, right? Like that's like a duh. That's what you would want, but it's misinterpreted because it's not only the rookie quarterback deal. You need that rookie quarterback deal to have that quarterback playing at an elite level, right?
Set the infrastructure on you.
I saw with my team, the Giants have Daniel Jones on a rookie deal, right? And they make these big moves that don't work out. And then it just looks awful.
Yeah.
And now you're having to cut costs because if it does end up turning around, guess what? Even if Daniel Jones lights it up this year, what good is that for the Giants? They're going to have to pay him $30 million. Yeah. Say he has a career year, 40 touchdowns, 10 interceptions.
Brian Daboll, coach of the year.
Right. Brian Daboll, coach of the year, the whole nine. But what does that do for the Giants moving forward? Now that you're going to have to allocate so much money to
I mean, he'd be a franchise quarterback then.
I get that. But like the Joe Burrows of the world, Justin Herberts, you're looking at these teams. Hell, even like Zach Wilson, bro. I went back and I watched a little bit. I'm not putting him in the same realm, but I'm saying the idea of if you have a rookie quarterback on that contract and you could put the right pieces around him.
I think that's what Jet fans are hoping because you want to talk about a team that's spending.
Yeah, they're spending as well.
I like the Tomlinson pickup. It's gonna be interesting who plays right guard between him and Vera Tucker because remember they used that Seattle pick on a guard. So they're building offense line slowly. It's just I'm just waiting for something with the Jets because I don't know. It's hard to get invested in them because they've been irrelevant for so long, and I just feel like most of their games are meaningless. I know it sounds really messed up to say, but it's just when you watch them, it's just like okay, they're trying to develop talent, but it's just there's not much substance to this.
Yeah,
it's just like we're just waiting to see what they're building towards.